All right, so we have all the pieces separated here. So now we just need to go ahead and just do the layout. So it is possible, and you may even want to, that you would have the head on a separate UV tile and then have the other parts in other tiles. But I think what we're going to do instead, just to keep things easier, so we can have one single texture represent the entirety of it, minus the hair. And he does have amazing hair. What we're going to do is we're just going to grab all of it, minus the claws. We're going to grab all of our guy here, and then we're going to take these two off. So we have the entire, so grab all the pieces of your dude and or dudette. And then what I'm going to do is go to shells, select all of them. So I just right click, drag up the shells, select all of them. And then the one we haven't been using is the arrange and layout. Go to arrange and layout and click layout. And what that's going to do is it's manually going to lay them in there. And what we're going to do is look and see what we're dealing with as far as our textures are concerned. Okay, so let's see if we can gather shells. That's not really helping. All right, so one of the issues with this is that you can see it's not properly utilizing the space. If you recall, what we want to do is have to stay within this 0 to 1 UV space, right? So V for vertical and U for horizontal. Okay, so I want to try and utilize that as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is this. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. I want the most space really for my head here. And then I'm just going to manually move items. And I'm going to turn the symmetry off so that way we can move these. So I find that generally speaking, sometimes I'll get away with just hitting layout. And if you can, then you just use that. What I'm going to do is just kind of manually rearrange some of these things because I might get better, some better options by doing it myself. I might be able to get more room in there. And there's some things too, like the shoes. You know, they might not need to be quite that big. I'm going to go ahead and just make those a little bit smaller, like superficially smaller, than they really need to be per se. The belt here, right, that can kind of probably squeeze into any number of spaces. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that right here. You don't need to watch me do this, but so I'm just going to try my best to utilize the space. So the idea here is you want to try and probably move this down and move this one down. Grab both of these, scale them up. Actually, let's grab that one. We'll scale them all up just a little bit. You want to try and utilize the space as much as possible, right? Anything that doesn't have something in it is wasted space. Just got to scale down just a touch. Move it this way a little bit. Okay. So, I don't know if I already scaled this up. I feel like I did. We'll just put this right around here. Let's rotate it a little bit. So you're just going to move it around. It's just like playing Jenga or something. And do the best you can with what you have. Now, depending on how you're going to texture this, you might want to... So the bottom of the feet, these really don't have to be very big. So we're going to go ahead and make those considerably smaller. And just so that I can fit them into these smaller spaces. Let's grab them both. Because you're not really going to see the underneath of their foot, really. I mean, if it's a game where you're an ant and this guy's a giant, then sure, that's something you would probably want to incorporate and make sure you have space for. But in our case, I'm not really that awful concerned with that. Let's see if we can rotate this. Like that. Oh, looks like a bunch of these. Oh, those are the belt buckle or the belt loops. So let's see. That looks actually pretty okay. And then I'll just take this guy and move this one back down here. But I would probably try to scale everything and move everything around as much as I could. What's really important is to make sure that they don't go over the edges on these tiles, okay? And a nice way to kind of make sure that they aren't is do this. If you click on this and this, if this goes over, you're going to see that this tile will pop up. So make sure that if you have those on, that it doesn't, you don't see anything else on the outside, and then you'll know that it's all fitting on the inside. I'm going to turn it back off so you can see what I have here. Okay, I would probably you want to kind of, whoops, you want to kind of make, utilize as much space as possible. And like I said, if you do too much on the face, that's fine. Okay, so we'll say that that is, probably should have made these shirts also bigger. Well, whatever. So I kind of went through and made the shirt, the pants bigger, but not the shirts. All right, you probably don't want to watch me do this. So once that is complete, also make sure that there is a gap between all of your islands as well. You do not want to have anything overlapping. Try to utilize the space as much as possible. It is preferred if you can have, it kind of matters and it kind of doesn't. It is sort of preferred if you can keep things like on a grid. So like if this face would be preferred to be like this way or this way or this way, but not any of these in between angles. The reason why that matters is that if we were applying, let's say, hair and other effects, it actually uses the UV space in order to kind of figure that out. But I'm just going to call that good enough. But I might spend a little longer just trying to get the all these pieces in here as much as possible, because you have a big gap in here that I could probably put some stuff in. So, but we're going to call that good. Once that is good, the last thing we really need to do, because we didn't do it earlier, are the eyes. I'm just going to do placeholder eyes. I just want to make sure I have these for when we go do the sculpting. So we're just going to go ahead and make the eyes here. And what I'm going to do is, I do have some thoughts on how to make eyes, but they take a little while and I don't want to spend forever on it. So I'm just going to make sure, if I hold J, it's increment. I'm just going to make sure that we do it in a forward direction, and we'll go like this. And we will put it roughly like that. Actually, let's pull it forward. Oops, pull it forward a little bit. Make sure that this eyeball is the right size. I think it is. I'm going to put wireframe on texture so I can kind of see my eyelid. That looks probably good. So I'm just going to take that and push that back. And I don't need you right now. And then what we'll do is I'm also going to poly smooth it, which would be this one now. Okay. Actually, better than poly smoothing it would be to use the, I went to the channel box, is to actually just up these to like 16 as opposed to 8. The poly smooth, I'm okay with there being a pole here because that's where the lens is anyway. So we'll just push it out this way a little bit, and let's see. It looks okay. So I need to put it on the other side as well. So what I'm going to do is grab this. I'm going to hit Control G, which will make a group. It'll put the group right in the center. And then what I'm going to do is Control D to duplicate it. And then in here, type in -1. And then we're going to go to the, so I'm just going to scale it -1 on the other group. And I'm going to expand both these groups I just made. I'm going to grab them both, do Shift P to unparent them, and we'll just get rid of these. We don't need those. There might be a bunch of, okay, so what are these? Oh, that's those pieces. So it would probably make sense to name all these as well, and I'll probably do that later. But for now, yeah, we'll do cleanup before we do the other stuff. I just want to do this first because what we need to do is actually go through and make sure that our eyeballs fit. So your eyelids are merely shaped by your eyeballs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. We'll grab this one too. I'm going to pull this forward a little bit here. We'll pull this one forward a little bit more. And then I need to get to the eyelid, so I'm just going to hit the up arrow. And then we're going to take that and we'll just pull that forward. Make sure the eyelid is good. I'm going to hit the left arrow to move left. Pull this one forward. I'm going to hit the left arrow and we'll pull this one forward. And then let me see, that looks fine. But like these might need to be pushed back and in a little bit. We just want to make sure that we do indeed have these where they ought to be. That looks fine. I'm going to grab this one, and I think both, this one especially needs to go forward a bit like that. And then we'll take this and have this one go forward a little bit. I'm going to hit this, hit that left arrow because it's hard to get to that. And we'll pull this one forward, and voila. Now I've got eyeballs that sort of work. And what's nice is it didn't do the symmetry, which is really cool. So I like that. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably delete half, flip it, and then just stitch the UVs together. So if yours looks fine after this, you can just save it. I'm gonna go ahead and save mine as the next version. Okay, boom, 12. All right. And we can get rid of this as well. But what I'm going to do is, if for some reason your thing is not symmetrical and you write on the UVing like mine is, what we do is we're just going to get rid of half. So I'm going to turn off the symmetry. We're going to click on this. I'm going to hold Shift, double click to grab that strip, delete. Let's go ahead and just hit Shift I, so I only have that selected. I'm going to go to Faces again, double click, delete. Double click on the side, delete. Select this, Control Shift D or Command Shift D, select both sides. Combine, and then go to vertices, and then you hit merge, and then we're just going to go back to the UV editor. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. I have this set up right here. So we'll select this, and what you're going to see is that we're missing the two halves, which what it actually is this thing I was showing you before. Remember I said if you click on this, see how it's showing purple? It's because this side is upside down. So the easiest way to do that is to go to UV Shell, select this one, and then we're going to go to the Tools, Show UV Toolkit. And what we're going to do is, not any of these, Transform. We're going to do the flip, and I want to flip, where you flip, and let's flip on the U. Okay, and we'll go here, and I will also flip that on, actually, let's flip that on V. And click V and flip it. And then what I'm going to do is basically go from this edge. I'm going to hold Shift and double click. And I went all the way around the opposite side that I wanted. Okay, I'm just going to click and drag. Okay, let's move this up a little bit because it's accidentally selecting. Okay, I'm going to click and grab edges. Come on, grab these edges. And then we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to use the cut and sew. We're going to do stitch together, and that will snap it back down and sew it to the one underneath. And we're just going to do the same thing here. So to shells. I'm just going to move this out of the way so I can see where it is. Okay. And what I'm going to do is grab the edges here. So go to Edges, and we will click on this one, hold Shift, double click, so you can see it matches this one. And we're just going to go stitch together, and that will stitch it there. And theoretically, if I go back to everything and select it all, it should fit. Oh, something else got selected. I don't know what this is. What are you? Oh, it's the claws. That's why. Okay, so if we select everything, it should fit right where it was before. All right, and that's just the eyeball that you also see. All right, good. So yeah, that is good enough for now. And we just want to save this, and we'll be ready for the next thing. I'll probably just organize this before. We'll double check this, and we'll organize it before we send it over to Mudbox. But other than that, your UVs should be good to go. So good luck.